President Buhari is in the middle of a 4-day visit to the United States. It is the latest step on his path to chart a new course for Nigeria, one that's free of corruption and terrorism. CCTV's Jim Spellman has insight.
A historic handshake.
A great pleasure to welcome President Buhari and his delegation here to the Oval Office.
As the Nigerian president met the U.S. president at the White House to kick off several days of high-level meetings. The talks will focus on 3 areas: economic development, especially the oil industry, Nigeria's anti-corruption campaign, and security as Nigeria battles Boko Haram. The U.S. recently pledged $34 million in training and equipment to help Nigerian forces fight the terror group, which has pledged its allegiance to the Islamic State. In Washington, Buhari announced the formation of a new multinational African task force to fight the militants, but won't estimate how long it will take to defeat the terror group.
I don't like to hazard a guess, especially when Boko Haram has claimed alliance with ISIS. That means at least they have more resources. But the fact that once the joint task force is in place, will effectively check their movements across borders.
Buhari also met with the U.S. Attorney General, lawmakers on Capitol Hill, and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. President Buhari wrote an editorial in the Washington Post pledging to defeat Boko Haram, but also to take on corruption in his own country. He's asking President Obama for help in finding and returning $150 billion in assets stolen by corrupt Nigerian officials over the last decade and held in foreign banks. Tamping down corruption may be key to securing more U.S. assistance and investment from American businesses.
The economy is booming. They've made progress with their stock markets. The inability to protect property rights and the sense that a lot of contracts are still being awarded on a political basis is going to inhibit the interest of international investors to come into Nigeria.
Buhari took office less than 2 months ago and has yet to name his cabinet. At the State Department, Secretary of State John Kerry called him a friend.
Nigeria is an extraordinarily important country, and we have very, very important interests together.
The warm welcome is a clear sign Washington sees Buhari as potentially a strong partner in Africa.
Looking forward to seeing him put together his team so that we can do everything that we can to help him succeed and help the people of Nigeria succeed.
The meetings in Washington came days before President Obama makes his 5th trip to the African continent.
The U.S. has a long-term interest in seeing Africa develop and become stable. I think the goal is by engaging proactively, strategically, that relationship can flower in a lot of different ways.
Later this week, Obama will visit Ethiopia and Kenya, where his father was born. Jim Spellman, CCTV, Washington.